Beth Guide. I'm with Vertical Web, and tonight we're talking about AI. Obviously, we need some AI to run Zoom because that way we don't have the technical glitches.
Right.
Um, I'm really only kidding. Maybe I'll get a little, it gets a little overwhelming at times. Um, so with that said, um, I wanted to talk about AI and how it fits in, how we can utilize it, and what we can do with it. But I want to give you a few things first. That we can use AI to build our websites if we do it in WordPress. We can use some tools to help guide the SEO and help us do some of that. We can use it to write reviews, or not reviews, summaries for our YouTube videos. And in fact, I have one tonight that I had just put up and I haven't really written the summary for, so we can kind of test that out a little bit and I can show you how to do these things. Okay. So that's some of the stuff that I'm going to be covering tonight on how to do that. So what I want to do is I want to kind of jump in. There is multiple engines out there that utilize what's called language models, large language models, which is what these are. They're called, you might hear them called LLMs. The most famous one that you know of is probably ChatGPT. It seems to be the one that started everything. And it's the one that's it's actually sending traffic to people's websites and everything. Um, Somebody asked if there's going to be a replay of this. Yes, what I do with these is we take them when I get the videos, I take them and they go out on our YouTube channel. So I guess let me cover that first so we know where to get this from. Let me share my screen and we can start with that. All right. So if you want invites to this class, you can do it through our website. If you go to our YouTube channel, all the classes that we have are here. So if you go under videos, you'll see I have the one from last week, the last one that was here that we did what's on the horizon for 2025. I also did one earlier this week, or excuse me, this month down at She Space down in Houston, and that one was on Google Analytics. So you can go here at any point in time and pick up a replay of this class. So that's a good thing, that those are out there and they're there for you to be able to use. The other thing is this class is a podcast as well, so you can use that also to help you if you need to. All right, so lots of different ways to do that. No, there is no handouts because this class is really pretty much run as a clinic. You guys ask questions. I've never made a presentation because at the end of the day, you guys help dictate where this goes. So the first thing I'm going to say is that when you build a website, you can build it with some AI to get started. WordPress has a system inside of it that you can use, and I'm going to give you some of what those are. I literally have gotten to a point where if I wanted to, I can spin a website up pretty quickly using some AI models. Now, what I did is, if we all understand AI is garbage in, garbage out, it really, really is. So if we understand that concept and that part of it, what I've been trying to do is get better front end information. And if I get better front end information, it's able to spin these sites up a lot easier. So with that said, let me jump on to WordPress here and let's kind of do that. So you should be able to see my screen. So first of all, I might as well just do my normal thing that I always do, which is I always tell everybody you should be using WordPress to build a website, not Wix, not Weebly, not Squarespace. Those do not work well, and because they do not work well, you will not have a website that gets traffic. So I'm very much about how we get traffic for people. What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? Those type things. Okay, so. I'm always down a WordPress road. I'm always telling everybody to make sure they use WordPress. One thing I do want to mention is put your questions in the chat. That's what I have up on my screen so I can see you. If you don't do that, I won't be able to see your questions. So just use the chat to put your questions in as we go. So, um, WordPress is a way to build a website. I think we all know that part of it. I'm going to use this as the back end here on this a second. So when you come in, depending on where you get your version of WordPress and all, it's going to log us in here. And once it logs in, um, you can, if you have something like there's several different ways to go about this. All right. So I can utilize a tool that comes within Astra, uh, which Astra is the theme. So what I would write down is this, it says, is WordPress free? Yes, WordPress is free. Um, and you're going to use WordPress.org, not WordPress.com. Okay. Um, sure, I've got a backup. I do. Okay. So when you come into your WordPress install, depending on where you get it and who you get it from, you can get a very staged down version of it. My hosting company, when we give it to people, we give it with all the tools that's needed. Okay. So not everybody does that. Um, but if you get one that's got some tools included in it, what you're looking for is a theme called Astra. Reason I'm recommending Astra is it's lightweight and it works very well for what we want it to do. Okay. So I put the word Astra in chat there for you. Um, and what we have is within Astra, once you get in here, it has several different ways to build a website. Okay. And the one that you're looking for is called Spectra. If you're looking to do this with some type of AI um, software, hold on, let me change this. That's my fault, everyone. So we want Astra is for the website, is the Astra theme, and then you want Spectra as the if you're going to use AI to build this, SPECTRA. Okay, so we have that, and I'm going to go ahead and install Spectra as my page builder. Now, for the most part, I use Elementor for most of our websites, and that's like a full disclosure thing. When I am using Elementor, Elementor has its own set of AI tools inside of it. Right now, I don't think it's as self-spawning as Spectra is. And what I mean when I say that is Spectra comes up, it gives you it gives you a pretty quick way to go ahead and basically gin up the entire site. So I'm going to be able to pull in the entire site pretty quickly. I'm going to tell it I want starter templates. And this way I can launch the site with AI. So for all you guys that have been telling me all the way along that it's very difficult for you to use WordPress, this is a way to do this. Now, Brittany says, can I incorporate WordPress with my Shopify store? I am going to say that, first of all, I am not a proponent of Shopify and SEO. They do not work well together. Now, is it impossible to do Shopify SEO? No, it's not impossible. But for the average Joe, it's improbable. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference there on what I'm saying. WordPress has WooCommerce, so it does have a similar thing to Shopify. And that website will end up ranking better than a Shopify site. So you have to decide what that's worth to you. I am always of the proponent that I want my website to rank. I want traffic. I want to be able to control what I want to control. And that's not a Shopify situation. The other thing is Shopify creates thousands and thousands of blank pages because of the way it works. So therefore it hurts the SEO. Not picking on Shopify, but I just don't, I think if your objective is traffic, I don't think Shopify is the right word. Can you incorporate it with WordPress? The answer is probably yes, but not in the way you think. I would need to build a WordPress site, and then I would need to make a link into my Shopify site. I have had people do that. So basically, you're using WordPress to build the shell around Shopify. One other thing I'm going to mention, and I think this is sometime in April or May that I'm going to be doing this. I think I'm going to be offering a hands-on in-person WordPress class that you can come and we'll spend the day learning how to use WordPress. So watch that on the schedule because I think we'll go ahead and be doing that at some point as well because I think there's a need for that. Anyway, so back to this problem I have here that the answer is WordPress with WooCommerce if you're doing e-commerce. So I am a WordPress and pretty much WordPress only kind of person. There's I think that it works the best for Google, and I think that's the best way to approach this. I think so. Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, Shopify, even WordPress.com, anything that's on a platform that is self-managed, it doesn't it doesn't work well. It says I built my web scratch from plans, show it's on a list of websites you don't recommend. It's not that I don't recommend them, it's that I'm saying that if I want a website to have traffic, this is the road to go to. Okay. I've never heard of Show It, so I would think that that's a situation. I don't know if they're like these other ones. But anything that's a drag and drop and do all of that, chances are that that is not going to necessarily work the right way for what you want it to do. So now that I put my starter templates in, I'm going to go to my starter templates and I hit the wrong button. I'm going to go starter templates are over here somewhere. Oh, where are they? All right, I'm going to tell it I want to do it with a design copilot and an AI assistant. I'm going to tell it get started. It's going to tell me to log into my account. I wonder what it sent it to. It's interesting. I wonder where it sent it. Hmm. I don't have any idea where this thing sent this thing to. All right, well, it's going to send me a mystery thing, I guess is what it's doing. Yeah, this is where it sent it. Okay. If you have enough email addresses, eventually something's going to show up to somewhere. All right, let's see. Sorry about that. Now that we know where it sent it to. All right, so it's going to log us in. I have an account. I'm going to tell it I want to start with AI features, and I say I want to get started. Uh, da, 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 da. All right, next we're going to go in and it's going to get more credits. I'm going to need more credits, of course. Give me a second here. It wants me to buy credits here. Give me 1 second. Got to put a credit card in, so I'm going to stop the screen just for a second. One more second, and we will have it. It's giving me a, let's see. I love when it gives error messages, but it doesn't tell you what it's unhappy about. Sorry about that. I might have got it this time. Let's see. Oh, I did get it this time. All right, now it's sending me back to where it needs to send me back to. Maybe. All right, so we're going to tell it build with AI Builder, and we're going to tell it the name of the website is test. And we're going to say this website is for, and we pick what we are. So let's just say we're a dentist because that's going to be easy. And it's going to say, write me something that tells me about my dentist situation. Okay. So I am going to use Claude AI, and I'm going to tell it, write me a summary about a dental practice in Kingwood, Texas. All right, so it's gonna write me up about what a dental practice should have in Kingwood, Texas as a website. And we're gonna come back and we're gonna enter that in the box that is over here that says AI Test Builder. And I'm gonna say, is that any dentist? I could spell, we would be better. Yes, and I'm gonna get to YouTube videos. I don't want to get way out ahead, okay? So just I will get to YouTube videos here. Um, so just give me a second, okay? And yes, I will be putting it on my vertical web YouTube channel. All right, so that will be there. So if I come back to Claude, okay, based on my search, so here we go. It gives me a whole write-up about, and I'm gonna copy that and I'm going to come here and I am going to paste it into my AI engine because I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. And I am going to tell it next. I'm going to tell it my email address. I'm going to tell it my address. And I'm going to tell it next. And it's going to tell me to select some images. Okay, so we're going to select this guy here. We'll select this lady here. We'll select this guy here. We'll do this person here. We got a couple kids. We got a fake tooth. We got another fake tooth. We got a lady smiling. Okay, I picked a bunch of pictures and I'm going to tell it next. And yes, I just did cut and paste it right on out. But I am doing this. I'm not doing this for SEO purposes. I'm doing it just to set up the framework of the website. Okay. I want you guys to understand what I'm doing. I'm going to pick option 2. I love the color purple. I'm going to tell it continue. I'm going to tell it I need a blog. I need a contact form, page builder. And I'm going to tell it I want that. I didn't add a chat or appointment bookings, but we're here for the moment. And the question said, what if you were to tweak the summary? Will it still work? Yes, because what I'm doing is I'm cutting down on the time to write the summary. You need to write the summary of your own business. And this is really primarily to work to get the framework of the website up so that you have a way to do this to start. Okay. Now, again, I am an Elementor person, first and foremost. But I know sometimes you guys like to come to this and then tell me you don't know how to do this. I want you guys to understand how easy it is to build a website. So that's kind of where I'm coming at this from is I want this easy peasy to build. So it's building a website as we speak. And it's going to put the elements in, and then at least we can edit them. I would challenge everybody, and when I do this class and teach everybody how to do the class, I'm actually going to do it with Elementor and give everybody the option to use Elementor and teach them how to do that and to build this and to do all of this. But this at least gives us a website that we can work with and that we can work on. Okay, so I want everybody to kind of get that. So first thing to do from an AI standpoint is we can build a whole website with AI. And we did this even with me having to do something crazy. It's only 6:30. So we did this in a total of 20 minutes. Start to finish. We're going to have a dentist website. This is going to take it a minute to do this, but that's what we're going to do. Now, I want to talk about a couple of these AI engines while we're waiting for this. I am using Claude, okay? And I use Claude for most things now over Chat GPT. I like the way it processes things better than Chat GPT. So I can give it a video, I can give it a PDF file, I can give it information. I can do a lot of different things with this thing. And I think it does a really good job. Like I actually asked it to give me a scope of work for a customer today. So I had somebody give me a very large scope of work and want all these things written into it. So rather than going down it line by line, I asked it to give me a scope of work based on what the customer asked me for. So they gave me all these lines. I'm going to go in, I'm going to put prices on everything that they asked me to do. Okay. So I can utilize this to do a scope of work for a customer. I can use this to do a bid. I can use this to take an email that I get and write a response to it if I want. So you can, I think I like Claude. It's really quite of a helpful tool. And I think it's more helpful than ChatGPT because I think if I ChatGPT, it does it, but I find myself having to tweak it. Now I will tell you, I'm gonna show you a few examples of where we're gonna have to fix Claude to get the right things done too. But at least I feel like this one does a better job. So I would look at this one. If you want an AI model, I would look at this to see what you needed to do with it because I think this does the best job. This thing's still building and doing its thing. So let's let it keep doing it. It does take it a minute to do everything, so we'll do that. So let's come back over here into Claude. So I can use AI to build my website, which is what it's working on and doing now. The next thing that I can do is I can start to tell me what kind of topics I want on my website or what do I want my website to do. Um, I think what I want to do on this is I think let's stick with a dentist, okay? Um, so the first thing I'm going to say, and the reason I'm asking these AI engines questions is because I am having them tell me what I might want to consider to put on my site. So if I was, let me go to a brand new chat. Okay, so this is a new one that says, if I was a dentist in Kingwood, what pages would need to appear on my website for SEO purposes? And I ask it that question and let's see what it gives us as an answer. So here's what it's giving me that I need, okay? So you see it's told me I need a home page, an about us page, a services page, patient information page, a before and after gallery, a testimonial, a blog, a contact us, and a map. Okay? I agree with every one of them. Okay? The next thing I'm going to say is what services should I include for a dentist? Kingwood SEO purposes. Now, the reason I'm asking these questions and doing it in this way, so that you guys understand why I'm doing this, is it is going out and it is going and it is telling me what the competition has on their website. And because it's telling me what the competition has, it is telling me how to act like the competition. So I may know what I cover, but I don't know what others cover. I don't know what I may miss. I don't know what those things are. So as a result, I come down and I ask it to tell me what those services for SEO should be. And it basically does the outline for me. Okay. So I now have the outline of what should be on a website. Okay. For to be a dentist and to be successful. Any one of you should be able to take your business and tell it, give me a list of services for what you do in the city or the area of town that you do it in, and have it give it to you. Let me back out of this a second. All right. So I'm being very generic because I'll do my own here in a second. Okay. But you see what I did? So this would be a real estate agent, and I picked a commercial real estate agent. So it's going to now give me a list of what the services my commercial real estate agency should be able to provide, and it's going to give me a definition of it. What I didn't tell it to do is to do it for SEO. Okay. So please give me a breakout. Okay, so I just asked it to give this to me as well. You see, it's giving it to me in a different way. And why it's giving me breakouts like this is because this is the way Google needs that information inputted back in. Okay. And if you look, this used to be stuff we had to do by hand. All right. But I'm going to tell you, you're still going to have to do some of this by hand. If I come over to this website here, you'll notice I have tax services and it gives me a list of tax services. I have forensic accounting. It gives me the list of forensic accounting. If I look over here and I do litigation support, it gives me that too. All right. So, it's giving me what I need. Now, if I go to the tax services page, I see you guys ask questions. I want to get this down first and then we'll talk about it. Okay. So next I do, as I come down, you'll see I have tax preparation, I have estate planning, taxes and bankruptcy, tax compliance, tax audit preparedness. You see that I kind of somewhat borrowed that same mentality from and I did this before the AI engine. I didn't use AI to generate this list. I actually work with the customer to generate this list. Okay. But I think where you guys kind of get a little stymied is how to create this list. So you can see I have a list for commercial real estate. I have a list for a dentist if I want a dentist. I can do this and get these prompts for anybody. Now, what I would say is property acquisition and sales. And I don't know that that's the right, in fact, I know it's not the right term. Property acquisition and sales is not the right verbiage for a commercial real estate agent. It probably is buying and selling commercial property is what that should probably more than likely say. Okay. And this is where you're going to have to come back in and you're going to have to decide what the right terms are. Now, we've talked about this in the past, and I don't want to make a whole class of this. But hang on a minute. I need a Chrome window. Okay, so if we all remember, I have my keywords everywhere tool for those of you that have been here before. If you haven't been here before, let me put this in here. All right, so you should all be on my Google page. Okay, so you should have my Google window now. So if I do, remember we said in this other window, we said property acquisition and sales. All right, we're going to put in property acquisition and sales. All right. And it's going to say there's 0 searches a month for that with my keywords everywhere tool. Okay. That's important for us to remember because what that is that nobody actually searches for property acquisition and sales. What they actually sell for do is buy commercial. Let's see, it gives me buy commercial real estate, buy commercial property. That's 10,000 searches a month. So I now know to go back to Claude and I'm going to make a change to this that's going to say change the property and acquisition to buy commercial real estate or and sell commercial real estate. Okay. It's not going to say property acquisition and sales. All right. Now this one has 1,600 searches a month. If I look down the list, I'm going to look down my list here and it's going to tell me what some of the better words are. And it looks like it's sell commercial real estate. So what it needs to say, buy commercial real estate / sell commercial real estate is what this property and acquisition sales need to be on that first one. And I'm going to share my whole desktop so we can work between multiple windows here a second. Share. All right. So why this is important is because if you pick the wrong keyword, you end up with a situation where you end up with no searches whatsoever. Okay, so you don't want to pick a keyword that limits your searching and limits your searchability. And I think that's a really important thing that we need to remember when we do this. So although I'm going to go down this list, I also need to make sure that Google thinks the same thing that Claude does, meaning that, so I put in landlord representation. It involves real estate agent or broker acting on behalf of the property owner, marketing vacant properties and finding qualified tenants. All right. I don't know that I see that in this list up here. Tenant screening, lease negotiation, property management. This is what Google thinks it should say. This is what Claude says it should say. I think Google's list is what we should lean towards. I think that we need to tweak this up a little bit because we're not having enough, to my mind, landlord representation. We're not having enough information. Now, this one says tenant and landlord representation, which is these two together. Let's see what that one looks like. TNANT and landlord. Well, the second I do that, it truncates my searches even more. Went down to 10 a month. And if you scroll down, I have more variants and variations of it. So if I put landlord in, I think what we're going to find out is that it's tenant. I think it's tenant representation is going to be the bigger term. These are all right. You see that tenant representation in commercial real estate? I might change this tenant representation to say tenant representation in commercial real estate. What I'm hoping that you guys are getting is that I have to proof what they give me from this thing. So you guys said, how did you get the high rate of keywords to show up on a Google search? That's keywords everywhere. If you look directly above that question, it says go get a keywords everywhere subscription, and it's like $10 for a million credits, so it's not expensive at all. It is called Keywords Everywhere, and it is my best friend for everything I do. If you go to it in a website, it's a research tool, and it always gives me what the amount of searches are for anything that I'm looking for, any words that I'm looking for. The website address is Keywords Everywhere. Okay. That's what we need. That's what we need to do. And it plugs into Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. It doesn't plug into Safari for those of us that are Safari users and Apple users. So I have to use it for Chrome. It also works on my Edge browser as well, which I actually like Edge, to be quite honest. I really am kind of surprised at how much I like Edge these days. Okay. But my point to you guys is that when I ask it for what should my services be and it gives them to me, I then have to take it and go out and say, okay, now are these the right words? So now remember I told you I was going to do it for my own business. I actually know my own business out off like really good. So let's do it this way. What should services and SEO company in Houston provide? Please give me an SEO keyword list for those services. Okay. I had to delineate that just a little bit because I'm using SEO as a company and SEO as a situation. So you see what it's doing now? It actually went out. It gave me what the list is of services I should provide. And now it's giving me a list of all the keywords. It's a secondary thing that I should cover So I have a comprehensive keyword list and I have the services I should offer. So now we're going to kind of look at this. Local SEO, Houston SEO Company, Houston SEO Services, Local SEO Houston, SEO Agency in Houston, Texas. These are a fantastic list. If I really want to be honest, this is a fantastic list of localized SEO keywords that I should be able to do. So now I know when I write my local SEO optimization page that I should have these words in it. Okay. So it basically gave me the words that I need to interlace into this article. Um, I'm sure if I do keyword research and strategy, which is the second one down, you'll see it gives me a secondary list. Now, Houston word research, SEO, keyword analysis, Houston keyword. And you notice what it's doing is it's localizing the search terms for me. Okay. So it is giving me, um, it's giving me some of the localization that I need on stuff. Then it gave me a list for on-page SEO. I do not agree. If I start to go put my things into the AI engine like we talked about, um, I'm going to say right now that, Medica description optimization Houston is not really a key term. Okay. I also say that Houston title tag optimization is not a key term. So let's go take these things and go throw them over here into our keywords everywhere search. What is it looking for? Why is it doing that? It's going to tell me, that's, let me see. Say it's a zero search keyword. So that's not a good keyword. So I'm going to look down at my list over here. And what I'm not going to do, and this is a really good thing, Houston Title Company. Anybody know what a title company is? It's a real estate situation where they do titles for a real estate company. So this word and this situation is going to make us some confusion with what we do and how we do it. Now, because this says title tag and optimization, Google does understand that this is a Houston specific SEO company. If I look down the answers, you can see that I'm getting some um, localized pages and localized terms on this. I don't know that I would go down this road to build a page about Houston title tag optimization. What I might do is write a paragraph about optimization of a title tag, but I sure wouldn't do it for just writing a page on it. So I'm gonna look at this, and when I see on page SEO keywords, to me on page is content, writing content. You notice that we have the SEO content optimization and on-page services. Now I'm going to say this. We're going to take this here and we're just going to do this way. I don't think a consumer looks for this way, but let's see if I'm right or wrong. Because I think if I asked you guys about on-page SEO services, so they're saying nationally, what I see this say is nationally, 3,600 people look for this a month, okay? If I put the word Houston, I fully expect that to go down. See, it went to 0. I hope what you're getting out of some of what I'm doing is the thought process that has to go into this. What I often see is my business owners kind of pigeonhole themselves into picking the wrong keywords or not knowing what they should be putting. I know intrinsically to take the Houston off. Now, what I will do is I'm going to show you this too. And this is really what I would do. I've got SEO services. All right. I'm going to hit return on that. See, that's 60,000 people a month. What I notice is it pulled a map. Of course, we're number one because I'm here. I'm sitting in the building of the address. and I can kind of start to look down this, but SEO services is the right term overall for what we should be doing. Okay. Now, if I come back up to the top, the question is, should I add SEO services Houston or Houston SEO services? And I'm also taking a gander down this list here because what I see is SEO company is 49,000. What I see is that I've got SEO services for a website that's 3,600. Professional SEO services. They're giving me words that I would replace on the Claude list with some of these best SEO services. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the word Houston in. All right. And when I do that, I now get, there's 1,000 searches a month for SEO Houston, 480 for Houston SEO expert. Again, SEO company is 49,000. Digital marketing agency in Houston is 1,900. So I'm now going to write that down. Local SEO in Houston is 1,000 searches a month, and Houston marketing agency is 4,400 a month. So what it's giving me is the words that I more need to use within this box here than what these actually say. And I think if we go through these one by one, we're going to find out that all of these are goose eggs. Whereas I need to turn this around, take out the on-site, and actually put words that are relevant into that. Okay. What my point in telling you this is too, on some level, is I don't want to see you go down an AI road and just give the AI answer just because it's giving you the answer. I want you to know that AI is thought provoking. It is not thought replacing. Okay. I don't want it to replace your thoughts and make you think that it's smarter than you are, because that really is not actually the case. Okay. So everybody with me so far? I'm hoping, does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. I'm not
Hey,
seeing.
Beth, can you restate that sage wisdom? It's thought provoking, not thought replacing.
Yeah. I mean, basically it's not smarter. It's not smarter than you are. It's just, it helps prompt your thoughts and helps you organize your thoughts. And if you use it properly, you're going to end up with but I now know what should be on my pages and what they should look like. So if I come back to evident, okay, you can see that I have all of these broken out. I have that list with definitions the way I want it to be. All right. And then I created related pages that are linked to this. Okay. So I've got tax preparation. When I go into the tax preparation page, you notice I have tax preparations for Houston individuals and businesses. I actually am going to tell my staff that this should say Houston businesses and individuals, so that the Houston and businesses are up against each other. So it's tax preparation services for Houston businesses and individuals. It makes a difference in that word order. So I am going to have them make that change. I need to write myself a note. Okay. So, and then if you notice, I come down and I say, what's in our tax preparation services? What should we be doing? Why should we be doing it? Comprehensive. And you notice I now have a page on that. So if I come back to my Claude example, I would have a page on site, on page SEO situation, and I would then sit there and I would write a page of what those services are, what they look like, and what's going on with them. If I go to web.com and I go here, you'll notice that I have content creation, link building, technical SEO, organic on-page SEO, local SEO, technical SEO. I actually have these things already there. Okay. So I am, even though this page predates AI by about 5 years, I actually put through the same things it suggested to do. I actually already have them on my page because I know my business that well. I'm hoping that each of you know your business well enough to be able to produce this. You should be able to produce this list without AI. I'm teaching you to do it with AI more to validate your thought process. If you can't do this without it, now at least you have a guidepost to do this with. All right. So what you're then going to do is you're going to come back to here. Let me go back over here and let's go back to our dentist for a second. All right. What I now know is I need one whole page that talks about services and lists all of these on it. And then I need a page for each one of these. So let's back up because there's 6 pages here on the surface. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 6. So there's roughly 24 pages that I can write about this dentist service without ever batting an eye. Okay. You guys need to start to formulate, how are you going to do this? Where are you going to go with this? What are you going to do with this? And then how are you going to produce this? Okay. But this is giving me the outline and the framework for what I should do. Does anybody want to give me their business that I can run this through and we can just see something agnostic that I'm not preaching on? If you want to give me your business, what your business does. I don't want to know the name of your business. I want to know what it does so that we can, and where it's located, so that we can get a solid list out of this so you can kind of see how this all stretches out for yourself. Okay. All right. So this one says translation and interpreting. Okay. So translation and interpreting, do you do written or only oral or both? Okay. And you notice I'm using the word please. All right. It's not because I'm like one of those psycho people that talks to their Alexa and says please and thank you, although I actually do. When you say please, it sets a more friendly tone about it than if I just said give me. Okay. This actually reacts to how happy I am as I'm doing all of this, okay? Or how friendly I am in what I'm doing. So I want to make sure that we're in a good space on that, okay? All right, language and translation, please give me.
Do you still need to be using all 3 screens? Because if you could make the one that you're using the most bigger, it might be easier for all to read.
Yes, I need all 3 screens,
Okay.
but let me make that bigger there. How's that? Better?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Please give me the services page for a language and translation business in Houston, Texas. Focus, add. What languages? I did that on purpose. All right. So you're saying it's French. Do you only do French or do you do a whole bunch of things? Because the last language and translation person I knew did like 20 languages, French, Arabic, and Spanish. That's probably good. That's actually probably the right thing. Look at all this information it's outputting for you. All right. By the way, don't go by this thing. So what it did is it came up with a website, I guess, to give me all of this as it was thinking about it. But it gave me certified translations, business translations, technical translations. Do you do all of this? Because if you do, okay. So those are your pages that you should have So you need one global page that defines your business that says certified translations, business translations, technical translations, website software's localization, blah, blah. And then you have the interpretation services that are interpretation, simultaneous interpretation over the phone, video requirements. All right. So we have all of that. I don't know what I clicked on. All right, so it's giving me, and then it's giving me industry specifics that may need your services, oil and gas, medical health care, legal. So you need to consider adding all of these things. And if you notice, their primary language is Spanish. They're saying Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, Arabic, which you told me Arabic. So you've got one, two, and French is six. So out of the six languages it says you should focus on, you've got three of six. So I'm going to be a funny person and tell you you got to get on learning Chinese and Vietnamese because apparently they're on the list. All right. So if you come down here, it tells you what to focus on. And again, Spanish and Arabic are on those lists. So I would put those to the front of the line and put French tertiary third. Okay. I would not, I would go more heavy towards the Spanish, especially the more Spanish, and I would also go um uh and get the other. So you're saying you'll hire translators for these other languages now that you know that Vietnamese, Chinese, and Hindu are on this list. You're saying you'll go, hey, more power to you. If you want to handle it on an outsource, that's a really good way to do it. And now that you know what languages you should be covering, the ones that you can't do, outsource it. Brilliant. Okay. The other thing this is doing is I don't know, like if we had a conversation, maybe if you were in front of me, I'd have a different conversation. I might have asked you what languages you focus on, and then we would have been pigeonholed to this. But I think what you just saw is you needed to expand what your offering is and saying, okay, I will get somebody to handle this. If there's a need for Vietnamese and Chinese, it helps you have a way to expand your business instead of just pigeonholing you into a Spanish, Arabic, and French situation. So I think that's a good thing for us to know. I think that's a good thing for us to be aware of as we're putting this stuff together. I think it helps us to understand not only what we should be doing, but maybe what we should consider doing to expand our businesses. If I come back to the SEO services, I guess this is the same conversation I would have over here too. Where's that little sidebar? All right, so it made me this little sidebar list, right? And on it, what I saw was I should be doing marketing, but I don't know where I saw it, digital marketing but somewhere inside of this said I needed to expand into adding digital marketing and taking away and to do this in a way that expands. It's going to expand my offerings to add marketing, to add digital marketing, and not just say I'm an SEO company. Now I've we call this digital marketing clinic, internet marketing clinic. We've called it that for years. So that's a good thing. What I will say is as we move to a more holistic service and not just be SEO and digital marketing, I think what's going to happen is we're going to find ourselves using that digital marketing name way more than we will the internet marketing name. So those are adjustments I'm going to make in my business. Oh, here it is. I know I saw it somewhere. Um, Let me blow these windows up because Sandra said she can't see them. All right. So if you look at this, it says Houston SEO services, but it also says digital marketing agency. And then it also says Houston marketing agency. That's where I saw it. So while I was rooting around trying to get my keyword list for my business, I'm finding things that are more relevant that I can add to expand my services. So as we're having this conversation, we're utilizing AI not just to help us outline our business to make it work for Google. We may actually also be adding things or changing how we call the products we offer so that we have a more comprehensive package out of it than what we have now. So there's multiple different ways that we can look at this and look at things to learn and to grow by utilizing this, okay? So I now have my wireframe of my website based on what Claude said, and I have now taken the time to go, and what I'm going to say is I'm kind of doing this slap shot across the top, which is I'm picking something and I'm giving you an example because I know what's going to fail. All right. Like, I know what of these terms that they put up here are going to fail. So I'm picking the things that are going to fail so we can talk through them. But my recommendation to you would be to utilize the entire scope of this situation to be able to, I would go through each and every one of these terms with my keywords everywhere tool to make sure that I had the right information, that I knew the right keywords, that I wasn't missing a growth opportunity, that there was multiple places that I was doing this. Okay. So as I look at all of this, that's how I would structure this, just so you know. So this is just the top layer that I'm done. Okay. Now, theoretically, I should use it to build my about page. I should use it to build my services page. When I come down and I tell my services are local SEO optimization, the next thing I need to do is I need to wash, rinse, repeat and come down. Now, one thing I'll tell you about chat, remember, if you do it within the same window, it's using the information above it and it's growing off of what you did. So if you want it to be um, agnostic of the previous searches, you need to go out and do a new search window. I'm okay to take the local aspect of this and run this through the same thing that I've run this through. So I'm going to say to it now, I'm going to say to it, what services? All right. So I'm going to now ask it my keyword. No, my keyword's going to be local SEO. What services should I include for local SEO for an agency in Houston? Make SEO friendly. No. I'm having to be careful of the local like the multiple use of SEO. I don't want to confuse it. All right. So now what it's doing is saying this is what the service is. So I should have local citation, Houston friendly content, local link building, local keyword research, local schema. It's giving me all the services that we should discuss on a local SEO page. And then the question becomes, do I agree with this? Local media, social media integration, reputation management. I do. I agree with every one of these points. Localized keywords, localized content. This is what I should include on my local SEO page. Okay. So I should be able to do this for each and every page that it gave me in the original section. I should be able to come over here and I should find where it says local. Where does it say local? Okay, so you see it gave me these local SEO keywords. I should be able to include those local SEO keywords inside this local SEO page. And now I'm being able to create the page in a way that's a little bit more congruent with Google. Now, what I will say is don't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and go put all these extra words and overstuff things in it because it will hurt you in the long run. But at least if you start down this road and you do it in this way, you're going to end up being able to do this. So you'll be able to do this for every page on your website. If you do this for every page on your website, it is a ginormous step in the right direction. Now, one thing I did not say, I want to be clear, I did not say this. Do not cut and paste this page onto your website. Okay? 100% Do not do that. What you need to do is you need to review each one and you need to say, okay, is this what I do? Maybe. So this says local citation building. It says your Houston SEO agency should provide name, address, phone number consistency across all lines. Focus on building citations to local high authority. What I would change this to say is that at Vertical Web, we understand that we need to have local citations that give Google an idea of where our business is located. Because of that, we need to go out to local directories like Yelp, like the Yellow Pages, and put out listings into those directories to help Google better understand where our business is located and give it some authority. What we also need to know is that every place that we put that name, address, and phone number, it needs to be an exact match. So it needs to be consistent. I did a maps class today earlier, and I was explaining that my office is at Oak Street, and Oak Street could be Oak Street, it could be Oak ST. It needs to be consistent. We talked about West Gray. West Gray is interesting because you see people put West, you see people put W dot, you see people spell gray like it's spelled Gray. You also see people spell it like Gray's Anatomy, and it's Grey. So there's multiple variations of that. I can do at least 4 variations of West Gray. I need to pick a position, I need to stick with it, and it needs to be consistent across all places that that address appears. Okay. So we understand that. So I would never put this up the way it says, because it talks about strengthening local search signals. Okay, for the rest of the world, from a commercial standpoint, and when I'm explaining it to you, you're going to say, "What's a local search signal?" What it needs to say is, we need to send Google signals so that Google understands where our business is located. That's the way that needs to be said. Okay. So I need to rewrite that paragraph. I can't let it roll out like that. The other thing is that with inside this language, there is multiple instances and cases where Google sees some of this and it goes, oh, it's AI. There's nothing original about it. Because there's nothing original about it, we're not going to rank it. So I really strongly urge you not to come in and just copy and paste exactly what's here, because it may not be right. It may not be worded, if I use the word colloquial enough, friendly enough, um, normal, more like a human. Um, they're going to pick it up. They're going to say I. The other thing is, I want you to recognize something. AI again is garbage in, garbage out. So what I'm saying when I'm saying garbage in or garbage out, it had to find that answer on the internet somewhere, so that what you're saying is not making it unique. Okay, so you remember I said this is about being thought provoking, not just like mind altering. All right. I need you to come in and I need you to think about, okay, so I do this service. What do I actually do? How do I actually do it? And what do I need to make sure that I'm keeping that real, keeping it be what I have to say? So do not, under any circumstances, cut and paste out of an AI engine. I don't care how friendly, or if you go, oh, that sounds better than I would say it. Well, if you're saying something like that, the chances are that you need to go rewrite it, because if it's not being said in a way that you would say it, there's probably some nuance difference, and it's not just a sentence structure problem. If you notice what I talked about, local citation building, um, I changed that around. And when I changed it around, I'm utilizing words that demonstrate I actually know what I'm talking about. And I'm making it be more informative and unique to me. So the more it mimics my thought process, the more unique it is. Okay. So AI is going to pull from all these sources and it's going to formulate an answer. It's not going to be able to take what my personal opinion is of something and intersperse it in here. So, like a dentist, okay, I have some dentists that what they want to work on is veneers. That's their whole thing in life is veneers. So I don't want to get off in these tangents, and um, my cosmetic dentistry discussion doesn't need to be about a full mouth restoration, dental implants. It needs to talk about how cosmetic dentistry and veneers can work together and provide a cost-effective savings for the end user on how they fix and repair mouth issues. All right. That's unique to them. And that's where I'm trying to, I know it sounds like I'm preaching a little bit and I don't really mean to, but what I'm afraid of and why I kind of have been iffy on topics like this is I didn't want you guys to all come in and copy what was here and just put it up. Because this, although I said make it SEO friendly, it's really not, because it's really just regurgitating a bunch of websites that have smashed together and given you an answer. All right. SEO friendly also includes what do I do to make this subject unique? We're going to talk about here in a few minutes how to write YouTube descriptions with AI. What I will tell you is I learned an awesome new trick. I can take these class videos and turn them around in an hour because I dump it in iMovie, I put the beginning and end on it, I go upload it to YouTube, and within a couple hours, I can push a button and tell it, give me a summary of this, give me a blog post of this, give me a YouTube write up on this. So what it'll do is, and we're going to do that here in just a minute, but it'll give me all the aspects that I need to go push it up because it's a transcript coming off of a video. These thoughts are unique to me. They're the content, it's summarizing what I am saying, not what somebody else said that it's smashing together an answer. Um, what I have been telling people is if you can't come up with ways to do this and rewrite it, make the video, put it on YouTube, and then ask it to summarize it for you. And then it can paraphrase your thoughts. I will tell you is that when I go out and I talk to our customers, this was kind of interesting. I have a septic company that we started working with. This guy knows more about septic systems than I ever even knew went into it, right? So as I had him talk, he was giving me the finer points of what I needed to know to put back out on there. If I took the talk that I had with him, I did not do this, but if I took the talk that I had with him and stuck it into Claude, I could have told it to summarize for me what we talked about, and it would spit back out a whole set of information, and it would be using his thought process, what was summarized in that video or that audio recording, not go out to the internet, find out what I should be doing, see if I am doing it, and then write me a page on it. So I hope everybody understands that distinction. So if you don't know how to do this the way I'm saying and can't discern it back out, then feel free to go make yourself a video and then run the video through one of these things and ask it to summarize it. So it's only summarizing you. All right. So if somebody said to me, talk about local SEO, I could utilize that. I might utilize some of these words that are in there, but I can make a unique page just simply by if you ask me. But I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I'm very comfortable with the job I do. I'm very good at the job. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. If you are not as comfortable with that, you need to start working towards getting that comfortable. Okay. That's super, super, super important as we embark in all of this. Okay. I'm looking here on one thing I want to say. There's a person here that gave me portrait photography in Houston, headshots, branding, photos, family. They actually gave me a list of what they're doing. They gave me the most comprehensive answer than any of you, to be honest with you. I think the rest of you just gave me things, throughout things at me. All right. When you start with, this is what I do, and then ask it to build this for me, I'm going to get a lot better answer than if I just say I'm a photographer, okay? Because I could be photographering, I'm making up my own words. I could be performing photography in a myriad of different ways that may not cut through this. So she's actually telling us what she does. And by doing that, she's sort of limiting the AI answer, but in limiting the AI answer, it's going to point the AI into the right direction. So everybody, I hope everybody's understanding what I'm saying on that. Okay, but that's a really good way to be able to do that. All right, so now we've talked about how to build our pages from this standpoint. All right, so now let's go with how do I'm going to say I'm going to do this from a video aspect first, and then we can go ahead into the blog end of it. Okay, so I'm going to go to my YouTube channel. All right, and I'm going to tell it vertical web. And I'm doing it this way on purpose because I want to increase my searches. If you guys want to follow us, it would be awesome if you would go ahead and subscribe. Okay. It'll also alert you when I put a new video up. All right. So I do not believe. Okay, so we have
Hold
Google
on,
Sitekit.
if
I need
you're
to shut
kind
up. Hold on. And I tell myself to be quiet. All right, so I now have my video. If you notice, I do not have a description to this video yet, okay? It's because I was saving it to do it here because I want to do everything. I have Note GPT plugged into the side to help me summarize it, but the one that I've been using is, I think it's this one here. It's Chat GPT and Google Video is what it put together. I gotta move these things off of here. Hang on. This makes me crazy when I have all this stuff here. All right. So, is this what I want? Is this what I want? If you look, I have the Chat GPT and YouTube summary group on here. Okay. And that's this one here. So as I bring that up, it should have just given it to me. Usually it just gives it to me, but let me see if I just can hit that button and it would do it.
And you make it look bigger on the screen?
Not yet. Let me do it first, and then we'll
Okay.
get it first, and then we'll worry about how big it is. Hold on a second. Let's tell it this. It's not doing it as nice as I wanted it to. But usually I hit the button and it just backfills it all in. So I'm going to summarize this video. I'm going to put the URL in. And I'm going to tell it to go. It would go, there you go. All right, so for some reason, let's see, how to obtain a transcript of this video. Why is it giving me trouble? You know, I hate when it does this and I do this. Usually I can just hit it and it'll summarize right off the side of it. I actually did this earlier today. You come up to the top. What it did was it took the entire summary of the transcript of the video and it gave me a summary of it. I can also do it with Note GPT. And I can tell it here. Let's see if it'll do it. All right, so it wrote a really quick summary there. Let's see if I can get the transcript of it. I hate when things don't work right, to be honest with you. I can't stand it. Because it's supposed to just be on here. Usually the little thing really just appears here on the side of the video and I pull it up and it dumps it in the Chat GPT for me. So it looks like I just did it this time and is this the one I did today?
So that only works if you really had transcription going
Yes,
in
that's
the
why.
video.
Yeah, so every video that it puts up, it does the transcription on, Sandra. So the thing is that I just have to put it up, and then once it's up, it stays on here. and it does what I want. Now, see, this says summarize this video and use Claude. Let me see if it'll let me use Claude to do it. I'm gonna do it on its own. Do that. Nope, nope, stop. Well, it's going to do what I wanted anyway. So see what it's doing is it's giving me a line by line summary. I want that because I end up putting that into the YouTube video because it gives me the mile markers of where I am and what I'm talking about. Okay. Then I'm going to tell it to write a YouTube description on this video. Make sure to include so I told it to write a YouTube. All right. So now what it's doing is it's going to write me the YouTube description. You notice it puts all the little stuff in. It put vertical web, it put the internet marketing clinic in it. I don't think this is long enough, but I can utilize it as is. And then what I'm going to tell it is write a 1,200 word blog post based on this video. And you can see it's literally writing me the entire blog post on what I need to include on my, and I told it 1,200 words, so it makes it long enough. Okay. I don't want it to write a short one. I want it to write a very long one. So it is doing exactly what I want it to do. It's going to output it. And what I'm going to do with it then is I'm going to take it and I am going to put it in. I'm going to read over it very quickly. All right. And see what it says. It says I've created 12 based on the video transcript that captured the key insights, platform suggestion, proper GA4 and tag management, understanding engagement and vanity metrics, understanding search console, tracking meaningful information, how to evaluate a professional website, and how to calculate ROI. That's what this video is covering. So I am going to take this summary. I'm going to stick the summary in to here. And honestly, YouTube doesn't care if this is not fully unique. I am going to say that it is unique because it's me who it's summarizing. So I'm not too afraid to take this and stick this here. Nope, that's not the wrong one. That's not the right one. I'm going to take this here, if it will. I'm going to hex the copy button. We'll just do it that way. I'm going to do copy. I'm going to come here. I'm going to put this in. And then the other thing that I'm going to put in to help the end user is I'm going to put this segmented list here that helps. I think it's going to help the end user be able to decide what's on that video. And I'm going to take out the based on the transcript. I've created a summary. I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to say video summary. I'm going to put my bullet points and my timelines in. I'm going to leave the connect in. I'm going to do that. Now this is basically done. All right. So now I have a version for YouTube to do this. Now I'm going to teach you another little trick. I'm going to go to Opus. Pro, OPUS Pro, OPUS Pro. And Sandra's going to say to blow this up, so I might as well blow it up now. Maybe. It's not blown up, Sandra. It's as big as it'll go.
Okay.
It's on strike.
Claude, have you already talked about Claude? That's free, is that right? Or did you have to pay?
I paid for it. It's $200 a year. Frankly, it's probably the best $200 I've spent this year. All right, so I'm going to sign in to my little account. See, the little thing is here. I don't know why it's giving me such a hard time about doing it, but I'm going to continue in.
So it's Opus Pro or Opus Clip?
It's Opus Pro, opus.pro
Okay.
is what the website address is. Let me tell it to save this. Did it save it? I guess it saved it. All right. By the way, I haven't released this yet, but I'm about to. Everybody asks me this one question repetitively, which is how do I know if my web designer knows how to do SEO or not? And I finally figured out how to teach you guys to get that answer out of people. All right, so I'm gonna go here.
So are you going to tell us that now?
No, I did a whole hour video. It's all
Oh,
there. Not even gonna tell you it. It's all there up
okay.
to you guys. I'm gonna put that video up in the next week. It was like an hour talk I did on it with examples. That's not something I mean, I guess we could do a whole class on it because it's that entailed and that in depth. Maybe we need to do a whole class on it. How do I tell if somebody really knows SEO is really I get that question so frequently. All right, so I'm gonna get my YouTube video address. I'm gonna go to Opus Pro and I'm gonna drop my YouTube link in. And where I want to show you. All right, so here's the clip. I think it's already chopped it up for me. All right, if you notice what it does is it took the transcript, it's got the video. And if I go to, let me come back over here. Sorry about that. Oh, it doesn't like this, so we'll just tell it to go away because I already did this. So if I come here, oh, go back to all of them for me, please. Close that. All right, you see, I have all the videos that I have here, and I can tell it to share right out of here and post it on social media. What it's doing is it basically created for me the write up for each of the social media platforms that I have to put it out for. So I do not have to go in and make social media posts for this thing. It actually did it for me. Okay. And it's doing it for YouTube Shorts. It's putting Upster hashtags in. It goes in and does everything I need it to do, stem to stern. So if you notice, everything I'm doing is starting off this video. And the reason I'm starting it off of videos because the videos themselves um, build engagement and help Google understand that our website has traffic and does what it needs to do. And because I'm doing that, it's then helping me create these posts. When I do this, oh, go away, get off my screen. I really do not like when people ask me if I like their stuff. I like their stuff a whole lot less when they don't put their stuff on the top of it. All right, let's go back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this window bigger because if I don't answer them, I can tell it publish now. It's going to take this video and it's going to send it out to all my social media platforms. I don't have to do a thing. It literally is going to go out to all of them right this minute. All right. So it's going to hit Facebook, Instagram, Reels. It's going to hit LinkedIn. It's going to hit my personal LinkedIn. It's going to hit my TikTok feed. And that's ultimately what started this was me undoing TikTok. Well, what's interesting about the TikTok is I now have like 10,000 TikTok people. I don't know if they're real or fake, but I got 10,000 of them. All right. So, um, this is doing everything for me, so I don't have to mess with it. Because, anybody that owns a small business knows that as a small business owner, we don't have time for this kind of stuff. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows that. So, and I'm trying to put this where I'm like, can see you guys. All right, you guys are the most silent bunch of people. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right, so this says my SEO folks say they're doing their job, but 98% of my clients find me on insurance, not on Google. Yeah, that's exactly what everybody says they need. They're doing SEO. I have one right now that when I tell you, I don't really want to turn this into how to find out a bad guy thing, but what was interesting is they came to me and they said, look, this is what happened. I went and looked at the website. Their webmaster went as far as to cloak the words on the page, which means hide the words from Google or hide the words from the end user, and then placed it up there. I could not, cannot believe I'm up to page 9 of everything that's wrong that was done to this website. So I just have to really I have to really I really need, that's why I sat down and I did this. I did it on a Saturday morning and it's a 1 hour talk. I really hope to have that up this week. If not this week, it'll be next. If you're on the email list, you will get a copy of the thing that says that video went up. So if you're on my email list and you're part of the email list, you'll get a copy of it. So make sure you sign up if you want copies of this stuff. For the people that say they kind of need to see some of this stuff or they want to have a replete of it, um, make sure that you go add yourself to the mail list, because if you're not on the mail list, you're not going to get a notification. So how you do that is vertical web, .com/classes, I bless. Or you can go to Internet Marketing Clinic Houston, but just go to here, go to the website, click on the word classes, and halfway down the page, it says join our mailing list for calendars, podcasts, and blog reminders. And what I'm giving you is your calendar once a month and reminders of upcoming classes. So sometimes we have to send them out, twice a week to say, hey, we have a class this week. Remember to sign up. We got a class next week. And then the other thing is when I put up a new podcast or blog page, you get a notice that says, hey, the new podcast is up. I'm saying podcast, that podcast, the video, and the blog page that goes along with it. So it's all 3 pieces you're going to get a notification on. So it's going to give you all 3 parts of that. The other thing I have is the podcast, which you can go to Apple or Google and subscribe to the podcast if you want. Actually, I say that it's Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon. I actually have it across multiple platforms. So wherever you get your podcast from, I am there. Apparently, people are riding around Houston listening to me. So based on the numbers, I see a lot of people listening to stuff, which I'm really kind of surprised about. So it always
That's
surprises.
true, Beth. In fact, I noticed one of our facilitators in the meeting today, and I said, "Hey, I see you're in the it's Austin Tenet," and I said, "I see you're seeking continuous improvement, listening to Beth." And he said, "She kept me company on the way home." So he was listening to you in the car.
And that really is a thing, and I think that's kind of I think that kind of tickles me on some level. But I'm like, really, I think it's awesome. Somebody said, when is the WordPress class scheduled? I haven't scheduled it yet because I want to make sure I have enough, because I think I'm only going to have 30 seats. And I think you guys are all going to have to be willing to drive up to Kingwood, because I can't find any place in town that is willing to let me have a 4 hour block of time. Because I think it's going to end up being a 4 hour class for me, start to finish. When I used to do this with the SBDC, we would start at 9, and by the time it was over, it was 1 o'clock. So I'm gonna need I think I'll do from 10 to 2 with it, just to give everybody time to drive out to Kingwood. But I think that's what I'm looking to do with it. And I think we only have room for 30 people. So if, we'll have to do this. And if it works out, I'll do it quarterly. And then you guys can come and spend the day with me and we can go through how do we do all of this. Um, the United Way does not have enough room for me. And I have some customers that are worked with the United Way or are part of the United Way family of places, and they don't have enough places for me. So I'm gonna give you a big, great idea. Doesn't work. They want, it's not, they're not free either because they say this is a commercial class. So they're looking for, because I'm a business, they're looking for to make money and do it that way. I don't really qualify for free United Way services. Um, it says, can I build an e-commerce site on WordPress? Yes, the answer would be yes. All right, so you're asking how you would become more visible on Instagram and Facebook. I'm doing a social media class at the end of next month. So if you're on the mailing list, you'll get the notification. Class is open, everybody. You're just going to have to get in your car and be willing to drive. And oh, by the way, I drive from Kingwood to West Houston every day. It's 40 minutes. Everybody, I say Kingwood, and everybody thinks I'm in West Louisiana. Okay. I'm really not. I'm literally 10 minutes north of the airport. All right. So, somebody said, I'm sorry, I'm in the page. Where do I get the email list, please? Go to the word classes, and halfway down the page is the join our mailing list calendar post. Put it in there. That's where you get it from. Okay, so I would recommend doing that. Okay, so we know how to do this.
Well, wait, let me say one thing while we got a slight break. Because I didn't do it earlier, I'm going to put in a link to our most recent newsletter at the Center for Entrepreneurship, HCC Northwest. We partner with Beth to do these monthly, and we partner with SCORE as well. And we're the Center for Entrepreneurship, HCC Northwest, is part of the Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives at Houston Community College, and we have lots of great stuff. So if you click on that link, you'll see that there are other opportunities, including what we just did today, but other opportunities. We put it out on Monday, so some may be passed, but you'll also be on our email list for future newsletters from us, so that you can get news from the digital marketing clinics that Beth does with us every month, as well as other opportunities around HCC. Thanks for that, Beth. I appreciate you letting me
Oh,
stick
no
that in at the
problem.
end. Okay.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem. I mean, I just want to make sure, I mean, we're getting to the last, 15 minutes here. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see, we've covered how to write your internal pages, how to use this for video, um, ads. Okay, so I wanted to cover this too. Um, I can go back into Claude, and I'm going to go back into Claude, and I am going to tell it. She's sweet enough. Sorry about that. My friend put up a picture of her dachshund, and apparently it talks. I am going to go back into Claude. Let me see. How do I make this smaller? It needs to go away. All right, there we go. Alrighty. Go out, and I'm going to say, all right. The reason I'm doing it this way is because, Google wants you to utilize their Performance Max campaign. All right. And not always does that work. So if you run AdWords, I'm not advocating running AdWords with this. But this will it will help you come up with what they should be. Okay. I'm going to tell it, give me 10 headlines, Google AdWords for a local SEO company. All right. I actually asked it for 10 headlines because Google lets you add those headlines. So here's what they did. They're giving me 10 headlines in a matter of seconds for me to go fill in. When it asks you what should your headlines be, here's 10 of them. Okay. So I can, and it actually appended the vertical web experts, Houston's vertical web's name to it because we're a brand. Okay. I probably could even put my own name on it, to be honest with you, because a lot of people, they know me as well as they know the company. All right. Um, so as we look at all of this, I can do that. I can ask it to write me the descriptions. I can tell it to put in the call of actions on them. I can utilize this to do that. I can also utilize this. I can also tell it to write me a Facebook ad. And this is what it should say. So see what it did? It actually wrote the ad for me that I can go put in Facebook with my picture and what I need to do. So I think that for those of you that are running paid ads, you need to consider putting some of this in. You can also do the same thing with TikTok. Okay. We can say, no, hold on. This one here. So this is a video. It was all understanding how the system works. I need you to be quiet now. All right, so here we go. So that's my Google short, but look at what it's doing. It's going to create the ad script for this video. You see what it did? It's actually building it for me on what should be in that little box underneath on what it should say. So this is where I say that the power of AI can help. It can help do some of these mundane tasks. It can help build stuff. I want to see if it finished my website. It never actually finished my website, did it? Let's see if it actually did. It doesn't look like it did. For some reason, it stalled out and didn't do it. So there was something about it that it didn't do. There's something it was not. Oh, see, look at it. I don't have a block editor publisher in, so there was a problem with the way that it did this, so it didn't set it up right. Okay, so we should have come back and done that. But what I will say is that I've now created two websites that are not SEO friendly. They were both of them were they're non-political races. Almost running a school board races out here. This entire website was done with AI. The candidate gave me some pictures. They gave me what their talking points were, and we let it build the whole thing. It zipped it out and put the whole thing together for us. If you look at this, I mean, it looks like a normal website. It took a Word doc she gave me and built the whole website. I think this thing took me maybe 20 minutes start to finish to be able to put this all together and to do that. So I really want to encourage, if you have trouble and don't, I'd rather you do this and be able to go through and change what you don't like than say, I can't do this. Okay. And I hear a lot of things from a lot of people that talk about can't do's. And the can't do's are really detrimental, I think. When you can answer a few questions and at least kick this out pretty good. I mean, yes, I had to finagle around with some things, and yes, I added some things, and I mean, it did take me a little bit more time to go and fix things the way I wanted. But again, I do this for a living, so it was like things that I wanted to do as opposed to just letting it run and letting it go. So with that all said, I think uh that's where these are. So this is an AI generated website. The content is not. The end user actually wrote it for me, and then the AI took it and translated it into a website for this. So what questions, if any, do we have? Because I've got a few minutes left here. So I'd like to see what questions that you have, and if I can answer anything for you, now would be the time to do
Those
that.
last two, somebody's asking about, they don't see the place on your page to get to the mailing
They already
list.
took care of it. They
Okay,
already
and then this last one that just came out, she's wants to get her spot in your WordPress class and she's not sure how to do that.
I don't have it set up yet, so I don't have that, but it's going to go out. We're going to send it out as a calendar invite that's going to say WordPress class, come sign up, only 30 spots available. And we'll see how many people we get for that. Um, it says, would I follow the same setup procedure if I had a startup business? Yes, everything that I went through tonight um, is what we would do. Let's see, this says, just strategy for growing a following is my pain point. Well, no, no, there's no purchasing anything, no purchasing a thing. All right. So but the thing is, you got to be consistent, right? And you got to put stuff up. That's why we've got to talk through. That's why I'm running a social media class in Kingwood. We're going to do that the fourth Wednesday of next month during the day. Like I said, I had some guy drive out here from Katy today. So I know if you want to come, and you have a car, it really is not as far away. It really is not in Louisiana. I swear to God. Okay. It is literally 5 minutes up the highway from the airport. Okay. Um, but we're going to talk about engagement. We're going to talk about what it takes to get, for you to be able to see things. So I see this even go back, even on a local thing or a personal thing. You don't see all your friends' posts because of the way those algorithms work on these things. And then if you get things that are more viral, they go better than, you know, I know my dog Cooper is worth 100 likes every time I put it up. I literally cannot put that dog up without getting a pile of people. So that's a big deal. I don't know what happened. My whole computer just did something weird. Okay. So I'm here to tell you that, putting the right thing up will help do that too. And you've got to know what people like and what people are expecting. If you're just going to put up stuff about you, um, you know, it takes a long time. Like even me on Facebook, if I put these videos up, whereas I have 10,000 of over on TikTok, I can, there's not a whole huge amount of engagement over on Facebook with these things without paying for it. The whole thing is predicated on payment. So there's a whole subtext to this that we have to talk about. Um, it's not just how do I get more engagement for that? So, um, okay, what other questions do we have? We got 2 minutes left. Otherwise, I'm gonna let Sandra tell you more about the entrepreneur program. Okay, Sandra, hit it.
Okay, I think some of you know this, some of you might not, but our Center for Entrepreneurship is known for 3 signature programs: the Business Plan Competition, the Small Business Success Series by HCC, and the HCC Mattress Max School of Selling. And if you use the link that I posted just a little while ago, it's a newsletter. If you go down to the bottom of it, there's always a place to join our email list, and you'll be getting stuff from us because you've already found out through either Beth or through me or through Score, you know, that to come to this. So you might be getting stuff from us already, but there's lots of great opportunities because the Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives has lots more, two other centers for entrepreneurship throughout Houston, and our Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses and our Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. So there's lots of opportunity. We create a pathway from launch to exit strategy, and we interact with the Houston entrepreneurial ecosystem as well. So we invite you all to keep going and growing through HCC, through Beth, through SCORE. We provide a way to cut through and be with other entrepreneurs to figure out how to deal with the changing times. And it's very inspiring and synergistic. So we love being with you here with you tonight. And we say good night, and we'll see you next month on Wednesday evening if you like that. I think what's the next month's title? We're still crafting wordsmithing it, but it's something about Google search, what Google doesn't
Secrets.
want. Secrets,
Yes,
Google,
they don't
Google
want you to know about
Secrets. Yes. Anyway,
secrets.
we'll get that one out soon and open up registration for it soon.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for coming tonight.
It was good to see everybody. I'll see you next month.
All right. Have a nice evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for this week's Internet Marketing Clinic. We'll see you next week. Thank you.